You're listening to the Captain Jack Sports Show on Northeast Streaming Sports.
I mean, you can see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboy fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face. Oh, I'm from Brooklyn. Hey, isn't he?
You're listening to the Captain Jack Sports Show on Northeast Streaming Sports.
Well, that's what you call not knowing which one to pull up at the right time. That we had a new one and an old one, kind of like almost when you get married, you get new and old and borrowed and blue, but we'll fix that. Good evening, everybody. I am Captain Jack, and I am so happy to push out to everybody that we are live here on the Northeast Streaming Sports channel. We are live here on Instagram as soon as I can get it to go. Yeah, I want it to go live, so we're good to go there. And this is our regularly scheduled every other Tuesday Captain and Wenches show. And I have to reiterate, ladies, this show is for you, okay? Aside from our guests, I want to be the only dude on this show. Okay, but we need you ladies to come on in and take it over, because otherwise it's going to be me with my wenches, which is awesome. But I want y'all to join us in here, and I'm going to bring in my wonderful wenches right now, starting with Miss Peggy Holmes and Kevlar Prom Dress, aka Miss Heidi. How you guys? Oh, Peggy, you're on mute.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
There you
How's
go.
everybody doing?
Just fine, Miss Heidi, or Kevlar. I love that name.
And we got some of the folks coming in. Oh, good. We got Thor. Thor Matthias is in the house, and Thor is a Vikings fan. Great guy. I got a chance to meet him in Minnesota, so I think he's going to like the guest we have tonight. Ed Winchell is in here. I don't know about Sorry That Ain't Happening. Well, he must be talking about something else. And we got Hollywood Raider in here. And first off, ladies, before we go to our guest, we have a good 2 weeks off. Anything we wanted to talk about straight up before we get to our guest?
Good couple of weeks. That's about it. Spring is here. That's great. Spring in Alaska.
I think I'm slightly worried about the absence of the OTAs this year, especially in light of the fact we've got a new defense to install and a new defensive coordinator. And I'm slightly concerned about, the decision not to come together. But I think each team is doing something different. What's the word, Captain, on how these guys are going to make up for this loss of time together?
Well, I was told, and I saw one of the articles, is that each team was given the option to figure out what they wanted to do. So because that they've had good times with COVID or the COVID-20, under what they did have last year, they decided to do mostly individual workouts, coming together as they can. I am concerned about that as well, but obviously we will see when the time comes how that hurts. And you talk about defense, and because our guest was a stalwart standout defensive player, I'm bringing him in right now, Mr. J.C. Pearson, and he is so proud to make sure that Kansas City helmet is in view. I love it. I love it, man.
Hi, J.C.
Hi, Casey.
How are you guys doing?
Just fine.
We're doing good.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here with you guys. I think you guys are a ruckus crew, man. So I don't know. Take it easy on me.
Well,
We're just a couple little wenches.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Don't let them kid you, JC. I'm going to be doing this most of the night, and I'm just going to let them have at it.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get to it. Let's do it.
You got it. Now, for equal opportunity, you might want to move your shoulder. Those I want to see that other helmet on your other side.
There you go.
There you go.
They're both up there. Yeah, they're both up there.
That looks a little better.
Yeah,
just a little bit better.
yeah. That red has been beating you guys up lately. So
lately. So now, having said that, first off, for those folks who do not know who JC Pearson is, JC, because we do have some younger folks that don't know about the football era of days of yore, as they said. Please give folks an introduction as to who you are and why we're so tickled to have you on the show tonight, sir.
Well, I grew up in Southern California, and believe it or not, I like the Raiders too and the Chargers. I was a Southern California kid, went to the University of Washington, and then came to Kansas City and became a Chief. Played here for 7 years, and then went to Minnesota and finished up in Minnesota. And then after that, got into TV. So I broadcasted the NFL for 8 years with Fox, doing the NFL games as an analyst, of course. And then after that, did college football and for ESPN and Fox, and kind of bounced back and forth between the two, and did TV for about 18 years. So been around football my whole life.
For sure. And I got to see that now you play defense.
Played defensive back, played corner, mainly. Last couple of years, I kind of played a little safety. Once you start slowing down a little bit and having some injuries or so, but mainly was a corner.
Well, and again, you've seen that in the pros a lot, where Woodson starts out as a corner, goes to safety. James Hasty, who I know from days out in Kansas City, went from corner to safety. There's been a transition. I mean, as long as you can do the job, obviously it's very important to be, the schemes. And actually, as a safety, you got to have more of that knowledge. You might have lost a step, but you make up for it in anticipation.
Absolutely. Another guy, Albert Lewis, was here with us for a long time, and then went to the Raiders and played safety. Eventually became a free safety. But, yeah, different position, but playing corner, you have the skill set to break on the ball, play the ball, do those things, come down, play that slot receiver some. There's a little more physicality. You have to tackle a little more at safety. So if you're able to do that and handle that, the transition is not that hard.
Peggy?
No, I was hearing you say you spent 7 wonderful years in Kansas City, and I know that you played under Gans and Schottenheimer and Gunther Cunningham, and I'm not sure, but 1 year with Dick Vermeil.
Bill Cowher, Tony Dungy, Herm Edwards. I mean, the coaching tree from here is phenomenal. So a lot of great coaches came through here.
But what us old timers want to know is, what's it like for a player to just like be in a locker room that's undergoing that kind of transition? I mean, what are you feeling? Are you wondering whether you got a job next year? What's going through players' minds?
Transition? What do you mean, from coaching staff?
From coach to coach to coach to coach, head coach to head coach to head coach.
Yeah. Obviously everybody, is wondering, well, how are we going to play? What's the scheme? You were talking about a new defensive scheme and having to learn that. So you have to learn the system. What are they going to do? Are they going to try to bring in some guys at your position? How's that going to work? And then just how's the team going to gel? And are you going to win? I mean, ultimately you want to win. So that's what it's all about. So you want those guys to come in and give their best as well. So, it's always a learning process. Some go well, some don't, honestly. And then you just try to fit in where you can.
Well, we lost Marty last year, right? He passed away, and
Great, yeah.
He's always been one of my favorite coaches. I've just wondered what it was like, playing under him, because there was a lot of criticism because they said he worked you guys to death during the season, and so you're all pooped out and couldn't win any playoff games. I mean, is that really true?
That is 100% true. I mean, we worked hard, but the thing is that before they came in, Marty and Carl Peterson, I mean, we were terrible. This franchise was horrible and everything. And they turned it around. And that's what it took to turn this team around. We had to get rid of a bunch of guys. You had to bring guys in. And you had to learn really how to work and how to win. And they got it turned around. And the thing is that Marty was so paranoid about the season and winning to get to the playoffs. We did everything to get there. And then once we got there, I mean, we would go away we would leave our families. We'd go to Vero Beach, and it'd be like training camp all over again. And then by the time we got to the game, I mean, we just didn't have anything left. I mean, the flights to the games, I mean, even during the season, the flights to the games, we were just, everybody's asleep because you're so tired on the way to the game on Saturdays. You're just trying to get all the rest you can get. So, but I give him a lot of credit, man. Great coach. Came in here and turned it around. And one thing about Marty and you guys know from all the things that you've seen about him is he did not like the Raiders.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask about that. And by the way, Peggy, I love Black Dog by Zeppelin, so you don't have to worry about. I don't know where it came from, but having Black Dog come in there at the time was kind of apropos. Getting back to the point, and we got Kevlar back. What made?
Don't leave me, Kevlar.
Yeah. What made the bile bust up? Because again, it wasn't really Raider week until Marty Schottenheimer got to Kansas City and really inspired that. And it's always Raider week since Marty initiated that. I mean, you played the Raiders and you hated the Raiders, but it wasn't an event until Marty Schottenheimer came there, to my knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. Before Marty, it was another game. We knew it was going to be a tough physical game. It was the Raiders, but there wasn't that emphasis on it. And then when Marty got here, the story goes that it wasn't so much the Raiders, the players, it was Al Davis. He had an issue. He and Carl Peterson had an issue with Al Davis. And from then on, he hated everything about the Raiders because of Al Davis. And so we'd come in on Monday after our Sunday game and come in and watch film of that past game, make corrections, but there are signs everywhere in the locker room, Raider week, everywhere. So from Monday on, it's hammered that, hey, it's Raider week, and there was no other team that we did that for. No other team. Other teams, we didn't even start talking about them until Wednesday of the week. But when we played the Raiders that Monday, it was Raider week, and signs posted in the locker room. They talked about it in the meetings and everything. And so he emphasized that he did not want to lose to the Raiders.
Yeah, and that record reflected it. Marty.
I was going to say that. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Peggy, but I was going to say.
No, the head-to-head record. Continue on, Captain.
Yeah,
the head-to-head record reflects that.
Yeah, Marty, and it also actually, when he went down to in San Diego as well, it's still he kind of brought that with him down there. It's like the most hated team in the division when it was in Kansas City or when he was in San Diego. All those teams got up for the Raiders, and his head-to-head record reflected it. Not as much in San Diego, but still. His overall record against the Raiders, I don't have the percentages. Maybe Peggy does, or maybe Heidi does to reflect that.
Yeah, and I didn't know
29. Yeah, mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that he took that to San Diego with him either. But I know that there was a deep down hatred just because of Al Davis. There was some kind of interaction between he and Al Davis that did not sit well with him, obviously. And so from that, it was just the entire organization. He just did not want to lose to Al Davis. And, Al Davis could have gone to whoever, could have gone to the Denver Broncos, and it would have been Broncos week, I'm sure, or it would have been Saints week. It was more Al Davis than the Raiders, but just so happened, obviously, Al Davis is the Raiders, and I mean, there was deep down hatred for it.
Heidi, you got a question for JC?
Not a question, just a comment. The hatred that Marty fostered in the Chiefs also fostered a hatred of mine for the Chiefs.
Right. And really, that's what the rivalry is. Rivalry is kind of a hatred on both sides. And, obviously we have friends that played for the Raiders. And years later, I would ask some of those guys if they felt the same way about the rivalry that we felt. And obviously they did not take it as serious as we did. They were like, everybody hated us. So it was just another week. Whereas for us, it was a huge week for us. So we kind of got up a little bit more for it. So kind of interesting, but that's what rivalries are. And for a while it wasn't a rivalry on the field, at least, because, we were winning all of them.
Patrick Mahomes. I just got a question. Patrick Mahomes, tell us your just right off the top of the head view of his skill set.
Phenomenal. I mean, as long as you have 15, you got a shot, because his arm strength, obviously his mobility, but his anticipation. Every quarterback can throw the ball, and every quarterback can move to a certain degree, but you have to know where to throw it, when to throw it, kind of have that. He has that it factor, that kind of a Brett Favre type of thing. I wouldn't say he's a technician, like a Tom Brady technician, but he's a guy that can make all the throws. And
JC, I got to stop you there. That is a swear word on this show.
Tom Brady, is that right?
Yeah, see, now you double swear. You double swear.
See, you should have told him the rules.
Yeah, I know I didn't cue you in on that, and I usually don't, because I like to get people on it. I said, I live in the Tampa area. Okay. So it's always a swear word anyway, since a certain game in the snow. But being down here where I live, it's a swear word. We will call it prima tama, sir.
Yeah. The Tuck rule, right? Or whatever. Yeah. But anyway, I think Patrick Mahomes is phenomenal, fantastic, and really, I think he can still get better. He's still a young kid, and so I think he's going to get better and better, which is scary for the league. But fantastic kid, and a good kid, good person. On top of that, off the field, I mean, the kid is phenomenal. So no one can say anything negative about him, because he's a great kid off the field. Probably a better kid off the field than he is on the field.
And again, we have our other wench in here,
Angria.
I don't know. That one's kind of scary.
Well, it's well earned.
You should be scared. Yes.
I don't think I've ever met an Angria.
We're not scary. We're just.
Okay. It's all good.
And we'll probably get Heidi back. A little bit of technical difficulties there, but always. I heard another click. Aha, there she is. So.
I got one more question, because I got to shoot my load up early, and that is, JC, tell us about your days in broadcasting, and maybe just let's focus here. The most exciting college game you ever broadcast, the game that you remember to this day.
Wow. That's hard, because
you can give us a couple.
Yeah, but obviously it was a lot of work. A lot of people just see Saturdays or Sundays and they think it's all glitz and glamour, but it's a lot of work. And actually, the college game was more difficult than doing the NFL games, because the rosters in the NFL are so small, and a lot of those guys anyway, and the roster doesn't turn over as much week to week. In the college game, there's 100 kids on the roster you don't know any of them, and you got to study both teams. Offense, defense, special teams, everything, and so there's a lot. They have double numbers. There's 2 20s. There's 2 15s. So the college game made it real difficult. But yeah, it was fun. The college atmosphere and environments were more fun because the bands, the student sections, just the pomp and circumstance of college football. Man, it was fantastic. So I love that part of it. But probably it's hard to say the best game. It's always great going back to the University of Washington, doing those games because it's not my home, but I went to school there. But there's a lot of them. It's hard to single out, but it was just what I enjoyed was just going to see the campuses, the different campuses, the stadiums that you hear so much about. The environments, Ohio State. We played at Michigan, so I knew that one. But Auburn, Alabama, just all over the country. It was a great experience.
I'm sorry, folks. I had to get my Instagram folks and said, "Hey, you're watching me when you could be watching the show." So head on over to YouTube. Go ahead. There was that Heidi that popped in?
Yeah, I got one. Overtime in football. What do you prefer? College?
I'm sorry.
What?
Hello? Yeah, I lost you guys for a second, so I didn't hear that last part.
Oh.
Ahead,
Overtime in football. What are your thoughts on and what do you prefer, college or professional?
I understand why they do it both ways, but I think the professional overtime period is a little more realistic. You got to kick the ball off, and you got to play offense, you got to play defense, and the way the college game is, of course, you start at the 20 and then you try to score from there. So I think the NFL way is more realistic. I think in terms of it just flows with the game, and it's just you just have extra time to try to go score again.
Angria?
I got a question.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on special teams? Because there's been a lot of talk over the last couple of years about how special teams is virtually unnecessary, kickoffs and punts and stuff like that. They even kicked around that idea of getting rid of punts and just doing a 4th and 15. I personally don't care for that. What are your thoughts on making a huge change like that?
Well, I think that was all during the, obviously the concussion issues and all that, and the lawsuits were hot and heavy then, and the league, is all about covering their own butts, to be honest with you. They don't really care about the players for the most part. But, special teams are part of the game. Yes, you have a lot of injuries or more injuries there. Had my share of concussions and injuries and everything else. But, it's part of the game. When you can return a punt for a touchdown or a kickoff for a touchdown or a long kickoff and flip the field, that's part of the game. And then you got to go out, and we worked so hard on the special teams during the week that we really took it seriously, and it was the third part of the game. There was offense, defense, and special teams. So to take that out of the game, I never would want to see that, and I think it was more so they were trying to, cover themselves at that time because so many issues about concussions and all that, and really there still are. Hey, honestly, I feel the effects of it still, and it's scary.
JC, I got something for you, and I'm assuming that you were there based upon your resume. Oh, by the way, that's the other Jack that's on.
That's right.
This is the baby assassin.
That's little Jack, and I'm the big Jack. But I'm going back to a game in Kansas City. And it was relatively early in the season because there was no snow on the ground. So anything is relatively early if there's no snow on the ground in Kansas City.
Right.
I believe it was overtime. And I want to say it was Jeff Hostetler throws a pass across the middle, and an official gets in the way of Tim Brown, and James Hasty gets the interception and goes for the touchdown. First off, were you there, or am I misremembering your time there?
No, that was after my time here. I may have been in Minnesota at that time, but I remember that play. But yeah. So should that? What are you saying? Should that have counted because the ref got in the way, or what?
No, I mean, if you were there, because I thought it was around the same time frame, so I apologize that I got it wrong a little bit. But having said that, it leads me into the segue of, I want to say, now, on that play, the referee is part of the field, so I get it. There's no way that you can get over that. But
Right.
I'm talking about some of the things that I would call the Kansas City advantage. One of the advantages that Kansas City has had for years, and I flipped out when I found out that this year they do not. But it always seemed that Kansas City gets a bye week right before they play the Raiders. And if you go through the way the years have gone by, and it didn't happen this year because we were almost always counting on it. I would say at least for the last 20 years, there's probably been about at least 17 of those years where Kansas City will get a bye before they play the Raiders. And it's called the Kansas City advantage. And it leads me into as you were a broadcaster, and you know about the biasness, and of course you're not biased, sir, because you're so awesome because you're here on my show. So I know that you're not biased. But the biasness that you might see within some portions of the NFL in the officiating, in the scheduling, in the things that Raider fans actually bring up, and of course everybody says we're just being paranoid, but when I have officials that tell me it's not paranoid when it's true, I'd like for you to talk a little bit about that.
Oh my goodness. Sorry. Hold on.
That's I'm surprised to hear that, really, because that's the first time I've ever heard that. We never really considered that or heard that or talked about that, to be honest with you. I have no idea, no comment, because that was a new one to me. We never even realized that it was so common that we would have a bye before we played the Raiders. I can think back to, a number of years where it seemed like the Raiders would always have a bye before we played them. And it seemed like it would be that week that Bo came back. And it seemed like we would get them that next week for some reason. I don't know if it's planned that way or not, but, so we were always wondering about that. But, it never really was a thing for us to think that, hey, we have a bye week before we play the Raiders. So that's a new one on me. And, that's never been really even talked about around here.
Yeah. And again, sir,
Kind of back in the time. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Captain.
I don't have the exact number, but I swear I am not blowing smoke. Like I said, other than this year, if you go back, I want to say at least 15 years, maybe even 20 years, if you go through the scheduling of when Kansas City got their bye, either, and it didn't matter what game it was, whether it was coming out to Oakland, now Las Vegas, or going into Kansas City, that they would have a bye before the Raiders would come in and get them. And this year, actually, the Kansas City bye is the last for all the AFC West teams, and it's later on in the year. So I was just wondering about, your thoughts on that. And again,
I'm gonna have to go back and research that because, like I said, we never that's never even come up around here that.
Come on, Captain. Now. What the captain is trying to say is the NFL schedulers screw the Raiders every year.
Every single year.
Yeah, that's about it.
And it is not paranoia. It is scientifically researched.
So the Chiefs get up and healed up and ready to go against the Raiders, huh?
Exactly. And it's not just that. It's the brutal travel schedule. And maybe a prop because we're from the West Coast. But we look around, especially at schedules like Kansas City, Pittsburgh, New England, and we don't see them crisscrossing the country every other game, flying 3,000 miles, coming back, flying 2,000 miles, coming back home. We see all of that. I've always wondered how a brutal travel schedule like that affects a player personally. I mean, do you have any effect?
Traveling with the coach, no question. But there's so many teams, so you got to travel somewhere if you're going to play. That's a kind of an advantage, that we have in the Midwest, that you can go to coast, 3.5 hours. But you look at some of those New York teams, they've got the same kind of travel, and they're not crying and whining, so you got to toughen up a little bit. Come on, man.
I don't know. This is the first year in 4. This is the first year in 4 years we're not traveling the most miles in the NFL.
Thank you. Every year we're number 1 in miles traveled, and there are other West Coast teams like Seattle, Chargers, right? 49ers. They don't travel nearly the way the Raiders. But hey, guys, that's because we're wanted in those other cities, right? We're needed to attract the fans. JC, I have one question, and you're going to settle an argument I have with my football gurus, and that is, you're a corner. Say you're scouting for corners. What are you looking for, number 1, in your corner candidates? Is it speed, football IQ, technique, ability to recognize and close on a play? What are you looking at when you look at a good corner?
That's a great question.
You're looking for, can he play football? It's not about speed, because there's a lot of guys out there that can run, they can't play. And whether it's receiver anywhere, so it's not just about speed. But can you play football? Are you a football player? You gotta, you're smart enough to understand the offense is trying to attack you. Do you make plays? Are you confident? Are you aggressive, or are you passive? Because you can't be passive playing that position. And for me, it's all about hips and feet first. Because at that position, if you can't turn, if you can't get out of your breaks, if you can't plant and drive on the ball, you're not going to survive. And it's not about running 4-3, because there's a lot of guys that run 4-3 that can't change directions. And it's not a track meet out there. If it was a track meet, then they'd be in a different sport. So it's just about the total package. You have to have a combination of all of the above, and I don't think one is really the deciding factor. Oh, this kid can run, so he can play corner. Or this kid is smart, so he can play corner. You got to have a lot of attributes out there, as with all positions. But out there on that island by yourself, you better have a short memory. You better be confident, and you better be able to line up and play man-to-man defense. And if you can't do that, you've got no job in the league. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
JC, I wanted to ask you about the this year being the first year with 17 games, and we saw that they took away a preseason game, which was obviously is going to be coming down the pike. 17-3 is still the same as 16-4, and what I've been told in no uncertain terms, and I can see it happening, is that the American public has been saying for years that Super Bowl Sunday warrants a day off of work the next Monday. So if we go along the lines of where this is leading us to, we got 17 this year, and we'll probably get 17 next year to make up for the fact that the AFC got the extra home game this year. Next year it will be the NFC. Okay? So we're looking at least two 17-game seasons, but you also know that for scheduling, it's always easier when it's an even number. It just makes things a lot easier. So you got 2021 with 17, 2022 with 17, and eventually I see an 18 coming with probably 2 bye weeks. So you got 18-2, which is 20 weeks spread out, and eventually looking for the NFL to have the Super Bowl right before President's Day in February.
Well, that makes sense. I like the fact that, that the Super Bowl should be it. That next day, nobody's any good. And the day after the Super Bowl, nobody's any good. So not a lot of production is being done at work anyway. In terms of the 17-game season and 18-game season, I mean, let's be real, man. It's about money. It's about money. You go from, one year the league so concerned about player safety, and like we talked about earlier, Angria, getting rid of special teams and all that because of player safety. Well, now you're going to add 1 and then possibly 2 more games to the schedule and lengthen it out. So, it's a contradiction. So, I mean, it's really about the money. And I knew it was going to get there eventually anyway, but, it's tough on the body. 16 is tough. So now really they took a preseason game out. So that second preseason game is going to be the real, the 3-quarter, the dress rehearsal game. And then the last one, the third game, is going to be like the fourth game used to be. And, where just a lot of the rookies play and the veterans rest up. So you're not really getting rid of that fourth game. You're just adding another real game, really.
Right.
Are you a fan of, do you think they deserve more money for this if they have to play an 18-game season? Because like you said, those first 4 are usually like rookie tryout games.
Well, absolutely. Because, not only, are they playing 1 and 2 more games, but now TV is broadcasting 1 and 2 more games with all the commercial money and everything else. So believe me, the league is going to get more TV money. So, obviously the players, it's got to trickle down to the players. And, that's something that the next CBA, I'm sure it's got to be a part of that, but absolutely, if they're going to be playing the games, they should be profiting from them as well and generating some of the revenue. They're generating revenue. They should be getting some of it.
Before I have to go off into the sunset, I want to do a quick poll of everybody, starting with you, JC. The best corner you've ever seen play the game.
The best corner that I've ever seen play. Yeah, there's been some good ones, man. But
even on film, NFL's films, and Steve Sable counts.
People can say what they want, good or bad about him, but Dion is the best cover corner that has ever played. The way that they played with Dion is they would just single him up. They would double the other side of the field. The safety would just leave Dion all by himself. And I've never seen a defense or a scheme like that ever, where you would just leave a guy out there all by himself. But they would do that with Dion. And, Dion will do what he does. And being a former corner, I've got to give Prime his props. That Prime is the best cover corner that I've ever seen.
Captain, who's the best corner you've ever seen play?
Peggy Holmes at a meeting with the DC Metro Raider boosters, making sure that she kept her club in tight because she cornered the market on keeping that club together.
And believe me, I had my whip ready. But seriously, your best corner, the best corner you've ever seen play.
For me, I would say the bookends. I gotta say, as a tandem, I gotta love Hayes and Haynes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But I'm biased.
Can't go wrong with those guys.
I'm biased.
Yeah, either one of those. Yeah. Kevlar.
I grew up watching
the best corner you've ever seen play.
Jack stole my answer. I was going to go Mike Haynes, but you can't forget Lester Hayes.
No, you can't. Angria?
Now you're talking 10.
That's a really tough one, and it's really hard to top that's the ultimate duo. You can't beat him. Mike Haynes was amazing, though. You know, I really liked Old Man Willie though.
Yes.
Old Man Willie. He's one of my favorite. The Soul Patrol is one of my favorite groups of football players to watch ever. And you know, I love me some Jack Tatum, as my little one indicates. But watching those four men play, it was Old Man Willie.
And they were feared.
They were good.
They were feared.
I love it, man. But you guys obviously are biased, no doubt,
Yes.
right?
Well,
But
wait a minute. I haven't told you who my favorite was, and it's not a Raider. It's Night Train Lane.
Oh yes. He would be my number 2, I think.
And I was actually going to say for the era that most people that don't know about, you know, but you talk about Night Train being back in the old. I also would say Herb Adderley from years gone by as well. So I actually was going there, Peggy, because again, I might be old, but I know people too.
Hey, Daryl, I know Daryl. Daryl, fantastic.
Daryl Green, another island corner. I mean, you know, we had an island corner until Philly messed him up, right? Namdi?
Right.
Yeah.
Philly tried to pay him in a zone.
Yeah. You know, there's a bunch of them throughout the years, but I think the cover corner of all is Dion. If we're talking straight man-to-man cover guy, Dion's the guy.
Mm-hmm. There it is.
So, you know, if you want to talk about tackling and all that other stuff.
Oh, we do want to talk about tackling. Come on now. Dion doesn't want to talk about tackling.
I'm being honest. I'm talking straight cover corner. What a corner is paid to do is cover.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to be a straight man-to-man guy, Dion was the best man cover corner there ever was. You know, and that's why I said.
Yes, I have an honorable mention. Mr. Woodson.
Yeah.
He's one of the best secondary players in our lifetime. Well, in modern days especially. Charles Woodson.
And JC, are you going to be in Canton this August when Charles goes in the Hall of Fame, sir?
Yeah.
I am not. Unfortunately. I met Charles a number of times. Big fan of his. Tremendous player, and definitely deserved. And you know, congratulations to him. But man, he was a fantastic defensive back, not just a corner. You know, and that's why when I talked about Dion, I said cover corner. Now, if you're talking defensive backs, now you got to put a guy like Charles in that mix because Charles did everything. He rushed the quarterback. You know, he played safety.
Played wide receiver.
He did everything. So, you know, Charles Woodson definitely one of the best all-time defensive backs, no question.
Yeah.
And one secret that a lot of people don't know about Ronnie Lott is that he played corner when he first started out. And then, of course, he moved to safety, and the rest is history. But he also, too, played that position.
Yeah.
I got to give one question to you as well there, JC. It's from our guest, John Copeland. Are there common traits that you think the teams can go from 7-9 or 8-8 to be a consistent playoff team, or does each team make their own blueprint?
John has a. Now I know what John's trying to say. He's trying to ask, you know, getting over that hump of always being a mediocre team, you know, which that parity that you have in the NFL. How does a team jump from mediocrity to winning? I know talent is part of it, coaches, but can you give us some insight from a player's point of view?
Well, you know, first of all, with you know this age of free agency and the salary cap, you have to have a guy that can really manage that cap because you only have so much money for so many players, but you've got to have some talented guys. So you got to get lucky some in terms of some younger guys being able to play on their rookie deals where they're not making a lot of money, but they're making a huge impact, a la a Patrick Holmes, right? So you got to get lucky some and be able to manage the talent with the cap and be able to stay healthy. And, hopefully things turn out and you hit on, a guy like a Patrick Holmes and then you're able to bring guys in like, Kelsey and Tyreek Hill and they're young on their rookie deals before, now they've had to redo their deals. And so now they're having to make some decisions on some other guys. So you just got to manage the cap. You got to be able to manage the cap these days and hope you can stay healthy.
JC, I'm gonna lay it out to you. It is the 18th of May of the year 2021, and in your best Nostradamus, and I notice you say we a lot. I know that you're not French. Okay, so having said that, and notice you say we a lot.
Okay.
With that red helmet behind you, I'm going to make it a two-parter. Who is going to represent each conference this year? And if you do say that we word, give me somebody other than the French Kansas City to possibly represent the AFC this year.
Mm-hmm.
Did we lose him?
No, we did not.
He's frozen.
Oh, gosh darn it.
Oh, did we? Well,
My tech gremlins have moved over there.
I'm going to listen to this for the distance because it's my time to leave. And of course, Angria and Kevlar, I wish to spend more time with you. Got to run, but it's always fun to be with Captain Jack and his wenches. And then we'll hear. I'm going to listen to the answer to that beautiful question.
Okay, yep.
See you later.
And I lost him, so I really didn't hear the entire question. But I think you asked me who I thought was going to be in the Super Bowl, right? First.
Well, basically, who's going to win each conference? And I said because you say we a lot, if you're going to say the team behind you, give me an alternative for the AFC.
It keeps going out when you say that, but it's going to be tough. Obviously, when you talk about it this early on, everybody's just speculating. So, but I think it's going to be wide open.
Oh gosh darn it!
We're going to send him some bandwidth next time.
Yeah. Well,
something's not going there. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
We can hear you.
We can. Yes, sir. We can.
Yeah. I don't. It's going to be tight. I don't think the Chiefs are just going to run away with it this year. I really don't. And one of the reasons is because, if you think about a team, if they go again this year, that'll be 4 years in a row, really, because they should have gone 3 years ago when D4 jumped off sides, and they didn't. They lost to the Patriots, but they should have gone that year. But to go that many years in a row in this age, it's unheard of. The odds are so stacked against you that, injury-wise and everything, it's just going to be tough. So I think it's going to be wide open. And I don't think the Chiefs are going to run away with it. I think they've got to get some things together as well. They got a whole new offensive line, so they got to mesh too. But so it's going to be wide open, I believe.
Okay, and that other conference where I have to be in the land of the fake pirates.
Yeah, and obviously it's easy, after a team has won a Super Bowl or even gone to the Super Bowl to say that they're favored to go back. But again, things change so much quickly in football through free agency and things like that, and a couple injuries here or there change the whole entire scope of a team. So, I hate making predictions so early. I like to see a team play a couple games, but, early on, you just got to go with the guys that right now. And unfortunately, you're going to go with the teams that were there.
Yes, sir. And again, and that's why I quantified it. This is for anybody that says that they know in May who's going to go to the Super Bowl, unless they have that book that was in, Back to the Future 2.
Yeah, right.
And actually, that would have been old because I think that book ended at 2000, so we'd still be, 20 years late on the facts. But unless you have that book, unless you got that almanac of sports knowledge, nobody knows because you have no clue what is going on when Primatama, and notice I said the name correctly, when Primatama went out for the season with the Primatama rule, with the guy who went in on the knees, and it deflated. That's a pun intended. Deflated the Cheatriots. I got a few of them. Jason.
I got you.
It deflated their year. So, and that was the very first game of the season, and that's when Matt Castle, who eventually found his way to Kansas City afterwards, took over New England that year, and they were a winning team, or they were definitely either 8-8 or 9-7, but they didn't go to the playoffs because nobody knows what's going on. You can't say in May you definitively know, but obviously, and that's why I said it. Your favorites are who we think they are,
right?
Which almost kind of reminds me of Mr. Green, and may he rest in peace. We are who we thought they are, but we don't know. And actually, that was one of the segues that I also had was the coaches that you've been with, the ones that obviously that you think the most of, or your most the memories that you've had with your coordinators and your head coaches. Because we talked about Marty, but anybody else you want to give some accolades to or some positive thoughts?
Oh man, absolutely. And on that staff here in Kansas City to start with, we had great coaches. Bill Cowher was a defensive coordinator. Love Bill. Tony Dungy was the position coach. He was my position coach, believe it or not. Herm Edwards was the assistant defensive back coach. Al Saunders was on the offensive side. There's been great coaches all around year after year. And then when I went to Minnesota, obviously Denny was the head coach. Tony was the coordinator at that time. On and on, just coaches all over the place. Mike Tice was actually on the team, and Del Rio was on the team, and they go on to be head coaches in the league. So, all the relationships that you make along the way, that's really what you cherish and you miss when you're out of the game, because everybody kind of goes their own way, and you kind of lose contact with a lot of guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Angria or Heidi, any quick questions for Mr. Pearson, because I know he's got a schedule.
What do you think of John Gruden?
Say that again.
What do you think of John Gruden?
I like John Gruden, man. When I was doing TV and we'd go in and talk to him, he was down and tapping stuff. He's I don't know that from a player standpoint, but from just a guy, I like him. He's tells you like a lot of like it is, and he's funny and all that, and just listening to some of the mic'd up stuff. I think he'd be a great to play for. Now, obviously, he's going to demand that you perform the play, and that's kind of what they needed as well. Because one of the things about the Raiders that we used to talk about as well in the meetings was that eventually somebody was going to get a personal foul, somebody was going to do something undisciplined that was going to really hurt them. So they were, what Marty used to always say was just keep it close in the fourth quarter, because then somebody is going to do something dumb and it's going to hurt them, and then we'll win the game. And that's just, a lot of times that happens so often because they were undisciplined. And I think John, really. And I think John, obviously is cleaning that up, and they've got to clean that up. But that was kind of the stigma when we played the Raiders.
Heidi?
What do you think of John Gruden's play calling?
Well, I can't comment on that because I don't really study and watch the games like that to see, his style or what he calls in crucial situations. So it wouldn't be fair for me to really comment on his play calling style or if he's good at it or not, to be honest with you.
Okay, I love the shuffle there. And
Yeah.
that leads me to the next question, sir, is where are we going to be able to see you if we're going to go see J.C. Pearson this year?
Yeah, hey, you better come here on this show or at home because, hey, I'm retired, brother, and I'm just taking it easy, watching my girls play volleyball and just being dad and, and trying to work through some of these ailments that I have, and try to get healthy and just try to enjoy life. But, you're not going to see me on any broadcast, that's for sure.
Well,
But you might see me at a Raider game when the Chiefs play out there, And I think the move to Vegas is going to be big for the Raiders because just think about the guys and the teams that come into Vegas, the distractions that they're going to have the night before the game. With Las Vegas, nobody's going to just come and stay in their room. There's going to be a lot of distractions. They're going to be out and about doing stuff, and all those things are going to be advantageous to the Raiders the next day. So I think that was a genius move and going to be great for the Raiders.
Providing the Raider players don't fall into that trap as well.
Yeah, I'm assuming that they get that all out of their system.
The Raiders have the ability to do it Tuesday through Friday, so they're fine.
Right, and all now they can get that out of the system now. So, yeah, but I think that's going to be a big distraction for guys coming in there on Saturday.
Well, sir, again, and I know you have your schedule, and I want to get you out of here. Personally, I want to thank you for spending time with Raider Nation. I hope we didn't, like I said, I let the ladies go because I told you be ready for them.
Hey, I loved it, man. And anytime you need me, want me, just let me know, man, and I'll be glad to join you guys.
Sir, you have a standing invite, and if you ever do get out of your house, if you make your way down to Florida, okay,
right,
I would like to show you the Raider Museum here in my house and also take you out for a nice dinner. You, the wife, the kids, everybody on me, and that is a bona fide offer, sir. And I will be getting with you to happily make it happen. Maybe we can get Willie Rope to come up because he's down the street a little bit. But
okay,
if we can get to an event in Tampa, then you two guys, the two reds, and I'll be the nice silver and black in the middle.
Sounds good, man. It'll be fun. Hey, it's all love, man. We all enjoy it. It's all love, and let's have some fun and enjoy it.
And again, you get out to Vegas for the Chiefs game. I'm giving you my personal information. I will be there for that Sunday night game. It's Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're all talking about it already. So just might be there.
Oh, if you are, please get together a picture with you and the captain in all his garb. You got to hang out with the captain.
No doubt, ladies. I appreciate you guys, and I had fun with you. And we'll have to do it again.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah, anytime. You guys take care.
Yes, sir. Thanks again, sir.
Right.
All right. That was Mr. J.C. Pearson, and thank you. Thank you for being on the show with him. And I know we lost Peggy because Peggy had her time to things to do. I love having my wenches on. I'm never alone when I at least have one of my wenches with me, and I had 3 for the most part. So I was good to go. And again, we welcome in off and on. Heidi, obviously you kept on this time. So whatever was that was ailing you, I think we fixed.
Yeah, I think I chased it out. My camera software decided to update while I was on the show. That didn't help.
Well, hey, things happen. And Angria, good to see you as well. We saw little Jack earlier too.
Yes, he is currently eating Cheerios, so I'm hoping he'll be quiet for a little bit.
Yeah, wait. Let me do this. We got fingers crossed, but it's a pleasure anyway. And again, we have some people in the house. Again, I was trying to get to some of the questions, but some of them I'm definitely not going to ask JC. I'm going to try to be somewhat pleasant to our guest. Like I said, I'll let the girls ask him the hard questions. This way, I look good, in that respect.
Hey, he was great. He was a great sport. I mean, he's very knowledgeable, and it was a pleasure talking to him.
Yes, it was, and I told him, I said, my lady co-hosts know their stuff, so he was ready. He was ready too, because I gave him the heads up, and he's going to be ready. But I like the fact that we had good banter back and forth, and I loved everything that Peggy asked, and as well as you two ladies as well. So, I got to call Vicky after the show. I want to say I didn't get a chance to see everybody. Joe was in here with his missus, calling in from or checking in from New York. Thank you for being there, Joe. Ed Winchell has been in here. Thank you, Ed Winchell. We had I think Matthew. Yeah, there you go, Matthew 72007, who is a member of the Galleon. Be sure to check out memberships of the Galleon. All you got to do is push the join button on YouTube. Push the join button on YouTube, but you got to be on an Android or you got to be on a Windows machine, because I keep telling my Apple folks, it's not me being nasty to you, it's Apple. It's not me. But thanks again. We're going to open up the lines, and again, anything that you want to talk to us about, you got myself, you got Angria, you got Heidi, you got little Jack who hangs out with us as well. Any questions that you want, I'm going to give you the format to get in.
I saw Matt Marinovich made a comment a little bit ago about being 2-6 at home and 6-2 on the road last year, and he's absolutely right. Fans make a difference.
That's right.
And as JC mentioned when he was talking about his favorite game, college is electric because it's so loud and it's so involved, and people are so excited about just, this one game, every single game. It's just the top of the list for them. That's all they want to do. And having that, I've only been to one professional football game in my life, and that was the Raiders versus the Browns 2 years ago. And it wasn't packed, but it was full enough, and people were just so excited, and it was electric when we got to the point where we were in overtime. And I think that really was probably what pushed our team over. They need the black hole. They need to have people in the stands, and it makes a difference.
Yeah, we only won the opening game, so we had a lot of excitement there, just by it being the opening game. And after that, we were 1-6. So that should tell you something.
Yeah, I remember too many. Well, I remember, and I'm thinking, was it the season before then when it was the Rams and we got pounded by the Rams, that opening game of that season?
Yes,
I just remember
that was Gruden's rookie year.
Yeah,
I believe. Yeah, we got just destroyed, and it was not fun. I think it was a Monday night game.
Yes.
That year, and it was ugly.
And
by the way, Ed Winchell, hey, I saw your little warning. Fuck you, mister.
Oop. Hang on, wait a second. I got to write that 103:46. So when I update this to my Northeast,
you have to beat me. I'm
sorry. I got to
sorry.
beat you. That's fine.
You know when you have me on a show, you're gonna keep the beeper ready.
I wish I had a dump button, but I don't. That's why I actually have to write it down. So when I go in later on and I pop it out, and then people are saying, like, because I'm talking about it now, they're like, what is he talking about? It's because I've edited it already. And
well, I'm just kidding. I love Ed. He's great. So.
Oh yeah, we know that.
Just jokes.
Just jokes. That's for sure. I want to say, obviously, thank you, Vic, again for the love. Vic, again, with a $4.99 super sticker. She has another entry into the Captain Jack Treasure Chest of prizes, which is right behind me. A bunch of stuff, plus the other stuff that's in the bags that I showed the other night. I bought a bunch of stuff at a store that was going to be liquidated. So of course, I bought everything that they had that said Raiders on it. So it's ready and good to go for them. And I want to welcome to the show, ladies. I'm not sure if we had them in last time or not. I don't know if you remember, but I'm bringing in WTF.
Hello.
Who is my Washington football team fan. Don't call it the Redskins with WTF around. So, again, we got WTF in the house. WTF, now, I'll tell you what, you got your hands full with these two ladies. So, I'm just letting you know, man, just tread lightly. Tread lightly.
Heidi, he looks like a mini Kenny.
He does.
Go
right,
ahead.
What you got, WTF?
So I showed up late. I totally forgot you were gonna go live tonight. But I wanted to see I was scrolling through some comments. What do you guys think on John Gruden?
I love John Gruden. He can coach my football team any day. I'm not a fan of his play calling last year, a little bit the year before. It kind of sucked, well, if we're being honest. But he was handed a pile of dog poopy, and he's trying to revamp the dog poop. And let's be real, you can't polish a turd, so he's had to purge a lot. It takes a couple years, so I anticipate better years coming up.
Yeah,
I think this is a make or break year for him. Yeah, he had a rough few years, but like Angria said, his play calling is really suspect. As far as motivating players, getting them on fire to get out there, absolutely, he is perfect for that. Players want to play for him because of it, but it's the play calling that really bothers me.
And I can't say that that's not part of relying on other people. I know we all think that Gruden's a control freak big time, but he's older and probably a little wiser. And looking at some of the calls he makes, I wonder if it's based on film that he was watching or that he relied on. And somebody, I don't know, he's had to deal with a very crap defense. That's not helpful. He had to deal with a very crap series of coaches. Paul Gunther was a nightmare. He made one of the best surprise moves in Raiders history. Maybe not that much, but I mean, getting Tom Cable on board was ridiculously smart, and he did it. And then he's a smart man. He has to figure out how these pieces fit together. And I think he's got it. There's no question he can do that. This man watches more football in a day than most of us watch in a year. And so sorry, Jack's wanting to put his 2 cents in too. But I don't know. I'm not ready to give up on him yet.
Okay. I'm going to kind of echo what the ladies had to say. So I'm not going to say ditto because that's just the easy way out. I like John Gruden's passion. I am really abhorrent of his mostly conservative play calling, especially when we need to go for the throat, and he kind of seemed to let folks up off the mat. I would use another analogy, but it's in bad taste since there was a death in Minnesota, so I'm not even going to go there. But the thought remains: you need to keep on with if a person is down and the team is down, you keep them down. And so in that respect, Gruden's got to do that. But he did do the best thing possible by getting a fantastic defensive coordinator. And just like Matt Marinovich said, we got a good offense, and we can't have a top 10 offense. It's up to Gus Bradley to do what his voodoo that he does is as well. And so that's the way it needs to be said as well. Now I'm going to ask you, WTF, and I've asked you before. Okay. And by the way, I thank you for your knowledge that you laid on me the other night when you said that the Washington football team has 5 straight games at the very end against their division. I actually used that on my other show the other night, and it was a valid and awesome point. So they said that we were going to be watching that. So on Wednesday nights, if you get a chance to watch myself, Violator, and Ref Guru on the NFL Nation Live channel here on YouTube, and that's a very enjoyable show. Ref Guru was a referee in the NFL, and by the way, he's a Raiders fan. So that which are two things that normally don't go together is refs in support of the Raiders, but he is actually. So
it's kind of an oxymoron.
Yeah, it is, or they cancel each other out. It's something that normally don't happen. Now I'm going to ask you, because I know what the answer is as well. How do you feel about Rivera and Del Rio year 2, and how much better is the Washington football team going to be because you have the core together, you have another year under their tutelage, you won the division last year in a very horrible NFC East, but you got to do better this year. What do you think that is their bottom line, and how much better is the Washington football team going to be this year?
Well, last year, in my opinion, we had a top 5 or top 10 defense. I think our defense last year was crazy good, especially our front four. And this offseason, with some additions to our secondary, I think it got a lot better. I love Del Rio. I think he's a good defensive coordinator. From looking at our defense last year, I think that our defense should be not a lot better, but it should be better than last year. Rivera, I'm not worried about Rivera. I think Rivera knows what he needs to do to get a football team going, and that's what he did last year. Now, we didn't have the best division, we didn't have the best division, but I think this offseason he had more flexibility than last year. Now, this year, I think I just don't see. I think we should have a lot of faith in him after a division win, which hasn't happened since 2015, and coming off that year 3-13, which was terrible. So I'm excited. More pressures on Jack Del Rio just because I think that he can live up to the expectations we did last year. But I love our coaches right now, and I think last year was a great year of how they put it together, especially their first year in Washington. So I think it was a really up and down season, but we pulled through with it.
Yeah, and again, the question is, and again, love the questions by Matt Marinovich. Fitzmagic going to be your quarterback all the way through? Is he going to have that complete season? And he's not going to get and I can guarantee you that if I see a face mask against Fitzmagic when the Washington football team goes out to Vegas, I personally will come into the stadium because I'm selling my tickets for that game. I'm on record. I'm selling the tickets for that game. If there is another face mask to Fitzmagic during that game, I will buy a ticket from a scalper at whatever price to come into that stadium, personally go down to the field, and they're going to kick me out again for going up to whichever Raider is stupid enough to do it again. So hopefully it doesn't happen. So there you go. It's not happening 2 years in a row. But back to point, Fitzmagic is your quarterback for the whole year, or what do you think there, big guy?
I don't. I mean, I have trust in whoever our number one quarterback's going to be. Now I know Fitzpatrick. He's old. A lot of teams. I think he's an on and off quarterback, but I really hope he can pull it through.
Okay. Watch your mouth because he's younger than me.
And I don't want to have to bleep myself. So there you go. Anything? Is he really younger than you?
Yes, he is.
Okay. He's not younger than me, so I can say anything about him. Or sorry.
What?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
How old do you think he is?
I had the context right. He's definitely younger than me, and I've actually spoken to him when he was with the Buccaneers, and they came over to do an autograph signing in my work. And I told him, I said, you might not know this, but you've never lost to the Raiders. I personally seen him, every team that he's played on, he's beaten the Raiders because of something that he did. And last year was no illusion as well. It was another loss to Fitzpatrick, whether he was on the Dolphins or on the Titans or wherever he's played, he's never lost to the Raiders.
Well, let's be real. The Raiders haven't won against a whole lot of quarterbacks in the last 20 years, so don't give him too much credit.
Yeah, well, but it is there. So
He does have his moments, though.
He does. Heidi, anything for my boy WTF?
What'd you think of Alex Smith?
So I was upset on how he left us and what he said about us. But I don't think any other team was expecting him to like come back as another quarterback. How he did. I mean, the leg injury, that guy, I give him credit. He's a trooper. It's incredible. Like I said, it's hard on how he left us, saying how we weren't expecting him to be a part of our future. But honestly, in my opinion, I don't think anybody really was expecting him to be in the NFL after that year, after what happened to him. And that's why he didn't get a job. So I think it was smart that he retired. I hope he does something productive, because the last thing I heard on him is that he's going to write – maybe this was somebody else. He's writing a book about – or not a book. He was trying to say something else about our organization. So I like him, though. I do.
Anna Diaz, thank you for being a member of the Galleon. And the Knights are about to play, and we're going to have a great night. Thank you for being here, Anna Diaz, who is a member of the Galleon. And again, Don Webb says, the young man on video right now, he's giving you much respect, because every time you've been here, you've showed that you know your stuff, and you are very, eloquent in your mannerisms as well. So that's why that you're always welcome to be on the show, WTF. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Anytime you want to come on and tell your cousin that when he grows up a little bit, he can come on the show too, because you ladies weren't here, but I don't think you were here. But WTF was down in Florida with his younger cousin, who was just a world pain in the tuchus, and that's just the nice way of saying it.
Hey, the next time I come out there, we gotta what's it called? Meet up.
Yeah, we'll meet up, but with your parents.
Yes.
With your parents. Okay.
Gotta be careful here, Jack.
Gotta stress that, with your parents, because I'm not gonna have anybody say anything Jared about me, for sure. So there you go, WTF. Thanks again for coming on, big guy, and always good hearing from you.
Hey, I got the Raiders winning the division.
Hey, I love that.
He's a smart young man.
Double bonus points there, and Kevlar loves you, as does Angria. So you're good to go in our books for sure.
See you guys. Thank you.
All right. Thanks again there, shipmate.
See you.
All right. That's WTF, the Washington football fan. Remember, you can be in the show tonight. I got to show this. Yeah, come in the show. Go to the link. There's a link in all of the chatter. It's right there on the screen. It says StreamYard with a bunch of letters. Actually, it's letters this time. Sometimes it's letters and numbers. You can call into the show as well, 813-699-0834. Trust me, the ladies will tell you what's on their minds. And I've only had to catch Angria once with one F word. So don't piss her off.
Before.
Just once. Don't piss her off.
Next time you talk to him, ask him if he's enjoying the Washington football team name, or if he has a hope that they're going to actually, assign them a mascot. Because I'm curious about that from a fan perspective. I personally love the Washington football team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like it. I
It's
keep
awesome. I really do.
it's very soccer-esque.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, the Washington football team.
Mhm.
You can't screw it up. What's the name of the team? The Washington football team. So remember, come into the show, and because we got a break in the action, I got to do this as well. Do it kind of like a sponsorship thing. If you want to win 2 tickets for the Monday night opener, all you got to do is donate $25 per entry via PayPal, friends and family at BigRaiderJ@yahoo.com. $25 gets you 1 entry, and that's at BigRaiderJ@yahoo.com via friends and family. Now, having said that, I'll be very honest. No one, and I know that's negative advertising, but no one has done it yet. I'm being honest as hell. No one. So
Can I do it? Do I qualify?
yeah, anybody does. Anybody does. I gotta have 300 entries though. So if I don't get 300, I will send all the money back. But if I get 300 entries, we're gonna have this raffle. What I would like to do, and I guess it's a pipe dream, is I want to get 500 entries because I want to give away $1,500, and that's on my next one. Okay, wrong one. 500 entries guarantees you a $1,500 donation to a Raider charity. $500 3 times. I will pick the Raider charities. I have some in mind. So if we get the 500, we're going to have Raider charities benefit from you wanting to be in on the game as well. And by the way, the winner gets a dinner. Winner, more than chicken dinner at the Capitol Grill in Vegas with me. So you got to put up with me, but I am going to pay you $100 for your dinner. So if you can deal with that, that's not bad. You're gonna spend $25 an entry. At most, you're going to get your money back because there's 4 entries at most per person. You get your money back in dinner, plus you get the tickets. What are you waiting for? And again, I'm being honest, not one person. And I was a little surprised by that. But not one person has done it so far. So if you want to be there for the opening game, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your mom, tell your pa, come on up and get in an entry for the game. And Jack was coughing up on that as well. So
He's telling me to cough up some money, Mommy.
You plus 299 other entrants.
We can do it.
Yeah, we can do it. Okay, but again, I that's my paid for political announcements. I really do. I want to give away the tickets because I know I'm going to the game otherwise. But I'm gonna let somebody from Raider Nation be in my seats, and you will be in my seats before I will. Again, this is the first game. You will have my seats before I do, and that's important to me. But I'd like to have a Raider fan be in my seats watching the game. So again, be in the show. Come in the show tonight. Hit the link. Yep, I see. I even got this in mind. Kids get cancer too. That's one of the charities that I have in mind, and that's by Vicky and all of the ladies down there, Nikki Snow Raider and Janice Smiley. They do such great that right now I know that they are my top contender for one of those $500 prizes. But I got to get the 500 entries first. So there you go. Washington Atlantic. No, it's gonna be the Washington. I think it's gonna be the Red Tails. I think it's gonna be the Red Tails based upon the Tuskegee Airmen who have an affinity for around the nation's capital. The history of the African American community there to honor the predominantly African American community. I have a feeling it's going to be the Washington Red Tails.
I could handle that.
It sounds like a baseball team.
Call from RCRVCC. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Okay, we got Houston.
Did you just get a call from jail?
No, I got it. I got it via the what do you call it, on Google. So I have to. It used to be before, when it wasn't Google, I would go Google neighborhood or whatever. It was quicker. But when they got rid of that, I actually have to do it right from Google Voice. So there you go. Raider Steve, what you got going on, brother? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Captain. How are you doing? How's everybody tonight?
I'm good, ladies.
Doing good.
Yep, I get a thumbs up and they're doing good. What's going on with you tonight, Steve?
Hey, Captain, I went to a great place next time in Houston. You gotta go out there to this place called Tito's, famous pizza place. That's cannolis, pizza, cheesesteaks. They got Steve Carlton's jersey there. Of course, a couple Flyers jerseys, a couple Eagles jerseys. It feels like home. It's an Italian market on South 9th Street in South Philly. And, man, when you go to places, these are the kind of places you go to. Wouldn't you all agree?
Yeah, now you said you went. Now is this in Philly or is this in Houston?
This is in Houston, North Houston, about 6 miles from where I live. And one of my regulars where I work at, he's from Philadelphia. And he said, "Hey, you really need to go to this place, guys. You're going to have some great food."
Oh yeah, I'm all for that. Anytime I can go get a real Philly cheesesteak or a real pie, yeah, I'm there, man.
You all like Patricinos?
I like the one that doesn't have the cheese whiz. I like the provolone.
There you go. I was going to ask you a question. Where do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to land? What do you think about all this? You think they're just starting out because there's not too much going on? You know, you hear a lot about the Dolphins, and you hear about Tua and all that. And we want to get your thoughts about the latest scuttlebutt on that stuff. And it looks like I don't think he's going to go to the Raiders, obviously. And you know, I'm tired of hearing about Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson myself personally.
Yeah, and now I even heard about it. And by the way, I'm trying to wave to my people that are over here on Instagram. If you're still here on Instagram, thank you. Come on over to YouTube. First off, I don't think that Aaron Rodgers. No, I take it back. I don't think that Deshaun Watson is going to the Raiders, and I'll tell you why. And that reason why is because of the allegations, which appear to be true. Again, we can't say nay or otherwise, but the allegations of the abuse to women does not sit well with a Raider organization that has backed Freddie Blitnikoff for all of these years, and that foundation of was it Tracy's House of Hope or Place of Hope. Having Deshaun Watson go anywhere near the Raiders. In fact, they should just stop talking about it because it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Right.
But yeah. So, ladies, what about you? Have you heard? Now, I'll let you comment on the Aaron Rodgers rumors because I took Deshaun Watson off the table. Ladies,
Heidi, go ahead.
I don't see either one of them coming to the Raiders. Deshaun Watson's probably going to end up suspended for the year, and Aaron Rodgers could very well walk away. He doesn't want to go back to Green Bay. And
all right, let me know when you're done.
Sorry,
because I got some crap to say.
Yeah, I just don't see either one of them ending up with the Raiders. Period.
Okay, and drum roll, please. You're on.
How often and how many times do Gruden and Mayock have to say they're not getting rid of Derek Carr before we stop making these rumors up that are just crap? Knock it off. It's enough already. See, my cat's showing you her butt because that's how much she agrees with you. That's ridiculous. And we're not going to pick up another quarterback unless and until we drop down below a top 10 our offense. Our offense is not the problem. We don't need Aaron Rodgers. He's going to go to the Patriots. That's my prediction. And as far as I am concerned, Deshaun Watson, I agree with Heidi. He's probably going to get suspended. I don't know, that the allegations are weird, and it is what it is. But in this league, if there's a question about it, unless you're Zeke Jones or Zeke Elliott, you're probably going to get suspended for a whole year. Anyway, sorry, that was my little jab at the Cowboys, because screw the Cowboys. Anyways, I'm calling the Patriots for Aaron Rodgers. How does Belichick pass that up?
Yeah, and there you go. And that has not been put out there, and that's bold, just like that tail in front of your face. That's a bold pick as far as if he does go anywhere. I think the price is too high in Denver. I think the price is too high in Denver. And apparently Vicky Orr has got 2. So
good job, Vicky.
Thank you, Vicky. So yeah, all we need is 300 or 298 more, and we're raffling off my tickets. And thank you there, Vicky Orr. Yeah, and I owe you a dinner as well, so that we'll call it a stalemate on dinners. Ed says Rodgers is going to retire. We'll see. I know he's not coming to the Raiders. I think that ultimately the cost, because I saw where it was like Rodgers going to Green Bay, coming from Green Bay to Denver was going to cost Drew Lock, which is nothing, but it was going to cost Chubb, their best defensive player other than the kid that's injured all the time. Okay. 3 1s year after year after year and a 2, as well as a guard that was high in their draft a couple years ago to go to Green Bay. No, it's not going to happen. I think that even Denver would balk at that.
Well, let's remember too, John Elway, not a good judge of quarterback talent. I have no idea how he does it, but he seems to screw it up every year. So,
yeah, and how much longer is Aaron Rodgers going to play?
3 years.
2 years. 3 years.
I think he's got another couple of years in him, and until he's gonna pull a Tom, and he's gonna go to another team and try to put his. Well, I'm not going to say it, but he's going to go somewhere and try to put his thing down and prove that he is everything that a lot of people think he is. I think he is one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league, if not the most talented. He's not been surrounded by a cast of characters for a very long time, and he still manages to pull out winning record most every year. Granted, he's not in the greatest conference or division, but I mean, what does the man have to talk about year after year after year? A different guy every year.
There you go. Steve, what do you think? Where do you think he's going to go?
To tell you the truth, I've heard about this so much with Aaron Rodgers that at this point I don't really care as long as he's not in our division. Feel that way sometimes?
No, I don't care. Let him come. Let him come to our division. Let him come to our division. I'll tell you why. Because whoever gets him is going to be paying extremely high cost for a quarterback that doesn't play defense. And where have I heard that? With our quarterback.
What?
Yeah. So let him come.
An extremely high cost for a quarterback that's not going to be there that long.
Great that he went to the Broncos. They have to give up the bridge talk, but I want to get your opinions about one other person. I'm a big Derek Carr fan, and I can't agree with Prom more. Maybe him more with Mike Florio and pro football talk more times than anybody in NFL history. I'm sick of hearing about it. I wish they would just let this go. And I'm a big fan of Marcus Mariota. What do you think he calls him for playing back? Do you think he's going to be with them this year and then gone after this?
Damn good question.
I didn't hear most of what he said.
It was basically, do we think that Derek Carr with Marcus Mariota behind him, what do we think are the future? Is the future of Derek Carr? Is it going to be here this year and only this year because of Marcus Mariota, or is Marcus going to get more playing time, or ultimately what will happen to that tandem?
They already tried to trade Marcus Mariota. I think that's a pretty big indicator of who's going to be here next year.
Okay. Heidi?
I don't think Mariota's a replacement for him. I think he's a complement to him this year. I think it is also a make or break year for Derek Carr, though.
We said that last year, and we said that the year before, and we said that the year before, and it still hasn't happened. He plays better every single year, and I'm tired of hearing that nonsense.
Okay, well,
I'm going to stomp on the ceiling at you, Heidi.
Okay, I'm actually gonna say that this really is a make or break year for Derek Carr, because all those other years they didn't address the defense, and it was
Did they address the defense this year? We'll see.
We'll
see.
Comparatively,
When we have a top 10 or top 15 defense, and then he has to prove himself, then that's the make or break year. We can't have a top 10 offense and say, let's just see how our quarterback does and fuck the rest of the team. Excuse me. 135-58.
Okay, thank you, honey.
We can't just continue to do that. That's nonsense, and it's the definition of insanity. Until we address the problems on our defense, our team isn't whole, and there's no way we can get rid of a player who's brought us to wins. He won in Kansas City last year. He won a cold weather game that everybody was complaining about. He can't win in cold weather. Well, he did it. He's getting better every single year, and I am not willing to give up on somebody who's putting his heart on the field and improving himself every single season.
Okay.
That is ridiculous in its craziness. And I will stomp on the ceiling at all of you.
Hey, point of order.
Point of order.
Point of order, damn it. Okay. Stomping on anything that says negative with Derek Carr. So again, Steve, I think we got that one. The dead horse. A point of order. No more dead horses.
I want to tell you how much I enjoy the insight of the ladies and everything, of course, and all the insights and perspectives, because I agree. I'm probably one of Derek Carr's biggest fans here in Houston, and I think that unfortunately, I don't know. I see him only playing a couple more, like 2 or 3 more years, but I'd like to see them take the next step and go to the playoffs, because I think look at all the yardage he piled up last year. He's the only quarterback that has hit the 4,000 mark 3 times in the Raiders franchise. The others have hit it twice, but nobody's 3 times. I like to see him take it to the next level. I was impressed with playing in the season in Denver. I'd love to win in Kansas City, and the future's bright. We got to wear shades. We got to get our defense house in order. And great show as always. The ladies, we always appreciate what you have to say, and of course you keep happening. Good health and God bless, and have a wonderful night.
You definitely, Steve. Thanks again there, shipmate. Always good hearing from you.
Same as well to you. Show. Bye.
All right, that's Houston Raiders Steve. It's not a show without and remember, the ladies are going to be voting in on this as well. The most valuable crewmate for the show tonight via comment or video or anything like that. So remember, I'm gonna let them kind of vote it out as well, because I don't want to appear to be biased, because I know most of you people from the shows that we have on. So I'm gonna let the ladies pretty much, definitely on the Tuesday shows, I ain't gonna say a word. I'm just gonna nod up and down, like a good guy does when he lets the ladies do what's right. Guys, if you know what's good for you, when the ladies make a smart decision, you just say yes, dear. That's the way it is. So again,
correct answer.
I'm sorry, what was that, Heidi?
That's the correct answer.
There you go. Thank you. I'm glad you told me that as well. Come into the show. Go to the link that is there. I'm going to put it up again. The link is here. It's on all of your chats, and it's also, you can call in like Raider Steve, 813-699-0834. If you missed it, we had JC Pearson on, who was so pleasant to hang out with him. And like I said, he said he'd come on again. I'd love to have him on again. That would be fantastic. Hopefully we'll be able to do that semi-regularly during the season. I gotta ask him. I said, where are you at? Because I'll go to where you are, and we'll do it from a place where we can actually do a 2-screen where we'd be in the same room. But I'd have to get JC's permission on that. But what a great interview. And if you missed it, then you really did miss it. Go back and watch. Again, come into the show. We are at 10:40. At most, we have 20 minutes. At most, we have 20 minutes. Sixton is in the house. Thank you there, Sixton. Come on over to YouTube. You're watching me do a show on Instagram. Come on over to YouTube and watch the show itself. And I miss some people. Lobos Ray is here. Killa Priest. Killa Priest can see a Carpin 4. I know you. How you doing, darling? It's been a while. Carnell Vicious was here. WTF was over here as well. Ronald Duclos was over here. Thank you, Ron Duclos. Keith Lorenza, I'm sure that's Keith Lorenza. Boca Dios was here. H-Town Boy. Sarah Annie, I know that they were here earlier because they came over. Kane's 232. Chris Lentz, Raider Neal was over here. Bane was here. Thank you for being here. And again, if you were here on Instagram, hopefully you came over to see me on YouTube. Hopefully you came over to see me on YouTube. Hit the link. Join the show. Join and call in. Did I get it through Google? I haven't checked yet, Vicky, but I will give you a call after the show. Because again, I know what's good for me. If Vicky says for me to call after the show, I will call after the show. So I won't. I got my V gals. You know, I got Vicky and Vanessa and Valerie and Velvet Raiderette, who is actually Becky, but that's her V. Vita Carolina, which is a V girl. A special V girl who is a Bronco, Mary V. Brennan. You know, so I actually got one of my V gals is the Bronco gal, who's a wonderful lady, and that's why I'm broadcasting here on Elite Superfans. Hopefully, we'll get some of the lady superfans to call in as well. Remember, ladies, this is supposed to be your show. There's a lot of testosterone around here. I want more estrogen. Take over the show. That's the way I want it. Come into the show.
We're waiting for some information. What do you want to know? People need to call. Otherwise, we're kind of...
Yeah. Like I said, trust me.
Fest.
I'm sorry, what was that there, Heidi?
This ain't no sausage fest. Come on, girls.
Yeah, exactly. I got enough sausage for anybody. We don't need any more sausage. We want some estrogen. See how I did that? No more sausage in here. There you go. Yeah, I will, Vicky. I will call you after the show. Line is open, 813-609-0834. Ladies, come on in. Hit the link. Ladies, and I didn't get a chance, but what do you think is going to be our roughest patch this year in our schedule? If you remember, we had the schedule come out. Was there anything that was particularly troublesome to you? The fact that we don't have to worry about the Chiefs having a bye. Like I said, that was the first time in years that took place where the Chiefs don't have a bye before they play us. Our bye is about mid-season. You know, it's not, granted, with the 17-game season, it's in week 8. Normally, before they would screw us, they would give us the bye in like week 4 or something ridiculous like that. The bye is closer to the middle of the season, and it's the second of the AFC West byes. I can't remember if it's Denver or Los Angeles has one the week before. Then it's us, and then whichever one between Denver and Los Angeles didn't have it, and Kansas City is near the end. I think theirs is like week 14. So they actually have an advantage in that respect.
I think the first part of the season, especially the first 2 games, the ones Pittsburgh and the Ravens.
Right.
And then the back-to-back, Cleveland and Kansas City, simply because it's in December and the weather is going to be so miserable. I know Derek Carr can win there. He absolutely can. It's just, that's going to be a tough stretch to be able to do it.
Right. And Carr finally got the Kansas City monkey off his back last year. But, and I am going to say the but, it was in a early season game. There was no weather. It was downright pleasant when we played Kansas City last year, weather-wise.
And then he won in Cleveland when it was like 10 degrees. So
I get that. I get that.
And Cleveland was pretty hot at the beginning, at that point in the season last year. They had a pretty decent, solid performance. So
I get it. In fact, the game surprised me as far as, because that was a game where all phases, special teams, offense, and defense, they all played a magical game to beat the Browns pretty handily as well. And yeah, even Matthew 72007 stated. Now, it wasn't frigid, but it was brr cold. I think. Now, what was it like? Was it in like the teens?
it was like 19, I think.
Yeah, it was in the teens, and it was also misty, rainy. So it was
like little
horrible.
pellets.
It was horrible in that respect. Oh my God!
Yeah, they had some sleep going on.
I am so happy. Wait till you ladies catch a hold of this guy. This gentleman I haven't seen in years. I'm bringing him into the show. Mr. Wolf, how dare you wear that ugly red on the show tonight?
Hey, stop.
How you doing tonight, big guy? Good to hear from you. Good to see you as well.
Thanks. I'm glad I haven't missed the show.
Yeah, so without going into specifics, we know each other from a very obscure place overseas, and I haven't seen him in quite a while. And I will give this gentleman props. When I had my show in this very obscure place overseas, it was for the Super Bowl show. And Mr. Wolf and I can't remember what the other gentleman's name was a Ravens fan. We had our Super Bowl show, and I was very happy to have you in studio for that show. So again, thank you. Welcome to you. You got to introduce yourself because I know you. And again, this is Miss Angria and Miss Heidi. Go ahead there, shipmate.
Yeah, like I said, my name's T. Wolf. I used to work with Captain J here. Yeah, we did that 49ers Raiders show together. The outcome was pretty sad for me. We all know about that. I would like to apologize for not beating Kansas City 2 years ago. That was also pretty sad for me too.
One pass.
Oh.
One pass. My goodness. Okay. Now I gotta ask. Now you had your up year, and you had a lot of injuries last year, but I firmly believe that the Niners are going to be back in this. And again, I think we've seen the last of the Seahawks in that division. I think it's going to be between the Niners and the Rams, with the Cardinals still a year away from really catching fire. That's how I see it. Ladies, your views on the NFC West this year?
Yeah, I think the Seahawks are fading away. Russell Wilson is still awesome, but the team around him has collapsed. The O-line is still very suspect. The Cardinals are very up and coming. I think they could be even more dangerous this year than they were last. The Rams, I think they'll be maybe the mediocre team.
Ooh,
but
okay.
Yeah. And yeah, the Niners definitely will improve. Their defense was decimated last year by injury, and I totally understood why they fell.
Angria?
I just have one word: crap. I don't see it happening. I'm sorry, but none of those teams is going to do well outside of their division. Arizona might, but Arizona's, they're still like one of those dark horse teams, and unless Murray can pop up some more of those balls to DeAndre Hopkins and they can win more like that, they're not going to get anywhere. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens. But
who's taking that division then, ladies?
I think Arizona's still going to take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Heidi?
Cardinals. I think the rest
I
of the
don't
division
think.
is
I'm
going to be
sorry.
mediocre.
I have a very good friend who's a San Francisco fan, and we fight all the time because that Battle of the Bay dies hard. But I don't think San Francisco, with a rookie quarterback and all of the defensive problems they had last year, coming back and trying to put that all together again, I don't think it's their year.
Okay, well, see, that's the $1 million comment, though, with a rookie quarterback. So you're already anointing the kid over Jimmy Sexy G.
Jimmy Glass Everything G? Yes, I am. I'm sorry. Who would put a man made of porcelain on the field when they have a top 10 rookie? That's ridiculous. Kyle Shanahan's not stupid.
Okay.
Yeah, and if he doesn't win it outright, he'll be in the early part of the season.
4 or 5, maybe.
And it won't be a move like the Dolphins did last year because they won't have been winning.
Okay, and see this is the thing about it as well, and that's why I have it being a shootout between the Rams and the Niners. I think that the Niners, with a lot of their defensive players back from injury, and I think they have a decent running game, even with Glass Jimmy, okay, on offense. But I think that with the Rams, with a better quarterback, in my estimation, yes, he's older, but you got Matt Stafford with weapons around him, and he hasn't had weapons around him other than like Megatron for years. And I think that's going to be something that's going to elevate the Rams. That's why I have the Rams and the Niners fighting it out. I like the Cardinals. I know that they are a good team, that they picked up a lot of decent players, but I still think that they're a year away from gelling. So that's the way I see it. Now, Mr. Wolf, are we going to be surprised by what you say? Because I want to hear about what you think about your own team in that division, sir.
Oh man, can I tell you that there was the most stressful month of my life? Like when the trade for the number 3 pick happened, my first thought was Lance, like because that one made sense. And then Mac Jones chatter started blowing up everywhere. And I hated it. Like I was super anti-Mac Jones because he was just like a younger version of Garoppolo, who is maybe healthier. But no, I think Jimmy starts the year, and as long as he's healthy, which we've said is the key, like he's missed 2 or 3 years with the 49ers, and I think if he's healthy, he starts the whole year. But like everyone's saying, our defense is going to be monster again.
Hasn't he only been there 3 years?
3.5. And he's missed 2.
It's 2.5.
Yeah. Well, so because it was tough because he came over from the Patriots, then he had that 5-game winning streak, which just lit the world on fire. And then 2 games into his next year, he tore his ACL, which in some ways was one of the best things that happened because we got Nick Bosa out of it. But it took us to the Super Bowl, and then he got hurt again. So. The current trend is that he's healthy in odd years and hurt in even years. So hopefully that means he's healthy this year.
Is that like the Giants used to win the series in like I think was it either whatever one it was, the Giants would always win the series in
even years.
The even years. Thank you. And so you're going with, because this is an odd year, that Jimmy G stays healthy.
I think so. I think the best storyline is going to be a 49ers Buccaneers NFC Championship game. A Brady versus Garoppolo championship game. The NFL would love that.
Okay.
That would be a good game, but as far as the division goes, though, it's the Cards, and I could see the Rams, too.
Yeah.
As far as them fighting it out.
The Rams are really suspect to me, but they do have a lot of weapons. Cooper Kupp is the most underrated receiver in football, as far as I'm concerned. You could put him in front of just about anybody, and I still think he'd make 1,000 yards. But Matthew Stafford, like you said,
remember this is not an X-rated show, so make sure.
I'm being nice.
No, I'm talking about your son.
Oh, he can't be naked on camera.
No.
He has a diaper on.
No, I'm not saying that. He was kind of ripping at the. We were about ready to have a Janet Jackson moment.
That's a normal occurrence in my household.
Oh, okay. I'm giving you a ration of stuff, so you know that. Go ahead.
At least I've stopped doing it.
I forgot. Oh, the Rams. Matthew Stafford, it's going to be, like you said, it's hard to tell what his skill level is anymore because he is a trucker. He runs when he needs to run. The man has no regard for his own safety. So we know that there's always a possibility he's going to get hurt, but he's resilient too. So if they have a good O-line, right? So if he has, that decent O-line and he doesn't see a shot, he's going to take his own shot. He runs, he trucks like a freaking running back. And if he has a good year with the Rams and he starts out really well, he could do some damage.
Hey T, make sure you're not a stranger. And we continue, and we love having you on. And like I said, even though you wear a god awful hat. But we enjoy having everybody on. In fact, I forgot a V girl, Veronica, who is my favorite Niner lady of V girl. Love Veronica, and she lives in Oakland, by the way, which is awesome. So, and she is a Niner lady through and through, but she is one of my V gals. All the ladies would either start with the letter V or there's a V in there as well. T, I'm sorry, you're not going to be a V gal.
You have the attention span of a fruit fly. That was ridiculous. You. Oh, you're talking to T, and you're like, "Oh, don't be a stranger." Oh, the V-gal.
It sounds like me.
Well, and I tell people this. It's like I get on the main highway, and then I go off on a side ramp, and then I go into a tributary, but I get back to the expressway eventually. It's the trip getting back there that hopefully is entertaining to everybody. So, yeah, sometimes I do have an attention squirrel. There you go.
So,
but yeah.
Captain Jack, can I ask you, let me ask you a Raiders question here.
Yes, sir.
Darren Waller, top 3 fantasy tight ends. Yes or no?
Yes.
Easy.
Yes, without question. And I'm not going to say any words that would jinx it, but without question, Waller, Kittle, and Kelsey are your top tight ends in the league, and there's no doubt about it.
There's not even a gradual step down after that. It's a long leap. Those 3 are so elite right now. Nobody else can really compare. We can't look at many other teams that could even put up an argument about it.
Yeah,
without question. I know that that's a fantasy question. So, and by the way, your boy David that worked with us, I work with him again in the office here. So and I helped him in that fantasy draft years ago. He hasn't asked me a fantasy question here. But I don't know whether he's still playing fantasy. But yeah, I'm working with him again. So
nice.
Awesome. Yeah. So any other thing there, Mr. Wolf?
I don't think so. I think I'll sign off and let you sign off the show. But I'll be back to pester you some other time.
Please do, sir. It was a pleasure seeing you again. Pleasure seeing you.
Nice talking to everyone.
Thanks for coming on.
Bye.
T. All right. Yeah, attention. I know attention span. Squirrel. Okay. Yeah, and I gotta say this as well. And Matthew said it best. Is Baltimore's loss. I think that's the one thing that we got. I can't remember getting something that beautiful from the Ravens ever. Am I thinking? Am I forgetting somebody? Anybody?
No, I don't think there's anything that beautiful in Baltimore ever. In so many ways, we love Waller for so many reasons, and it's not just because of his on the field stuff.
Yes, there you go. All right,
ladies love DW.
Miss Kevlar, Heidi, and Little Jack. How you doing, Little Jack?
Say hi.
Hi.
Say hi. Oh, bless you.
And in her absence, Miss Peggy, who is definitely, I love my wenches and I appreciate my wenches being here. Remember, ladies, if you're not watching, if you're not getting to work, and I'm not talking to my wenches, I'm talking about the ladies that hopefully will be seeing this show. Come on in. This is supposed to be your show. Like I said, it's not a sausage fest, and Heidi said it best. It's not a sausage fest. We want you ladies out here contributing, and we want to make it your show. Lady Raiderettes, wenches, and any sports fan that is a lady, I want to make sure we get you in here. But other than that, I've certainly enjoyed being with you ladies tonight and with all of our crowd. I want to again thank Mr. J.C. Pearson for being on the show. Heidi, any thing you want to say before we sign off as well? And then I'll give it to Angria, even when she has a jacket there as well. But first to you.
No, I'm good. I know who I'm going to vote for, though.
Vote for what? Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Who is your most valuable crewman tonight?
WFT.
Okay. WTF with WFT. Got it. Okay, that's yours. Angria, most valuable crewman tonight. Did we lose her? Oh, is she frozen? Always at the inopportune time. Oh, I hope we didn't lose her. Okay, there she is. She's coming back. Angria, we got you back. Okay, I think we got you back. Okay, there you go. We lost her.
Mm-hmm. My tech gremlin took over.
I'm sorry, what was that?
My tech gremlin ran upstairs.
Yeah. Okay. I think we got her back. There we go. Yep, we got her back.
It was time to sign off. So.
Yeah. You missed the sign off. Who's your most valuable crewman tonight, there, Miss Angria?
Oh, you know what? I like WTF.
Okay, well then, it's a landslide for sure. So no duel tonight. WTF gets the prize by himself. So, and again, we kept it on the no X-rated things. And although Jack was trying. And
he likes to push the boundaries.
and surprisingly, only 2 F's tonight for Miss Angria Trask, and I got them in there. So only 2.
Hey, that's not bad for me.
Not bad at all.
Pretty good.
So that is definitely good. And the fact that I don't swear as much anymore is amazing. So I want to say again, thank you everybody for being here with my wenches. Make sure you to join us in 2 weeks. We will be back. It's every other Tuesday with Captain and Wench's show on Tuesday night. Get the word out, ladies. I want you in here. No sausage. It's all good in the hood. Okay. Until next Tuesday, we'll see everybody. I'll get new outros and intros because I gotta move them over. We'll see by the next show as well. Ladies, it's been a pleasure. Thanks again.
Thank you for having us on again. Thank you for everyone that participated.
For sure. And WTF, you made our ring tonight. You're good. Thanks again, guys.
You're listening to the Captain Jack Sports Show on Northeast Streaming Sports.